I want that.
Okay, I'll do it on the chair. So this is going to be a single leg with a lateral positioning of the other foot to get a stretch through the inside of your thigh. So you see Weston's going to use a small step. It's pretty hard. I'm going to use a bigger step. So you can use a flight of stairs, you can use a chair. I definitely recommend you start small, and if it feels better, you can go up to a higher step. So I'm going to put my one foot, toe facing straight forward, right? And my other foot on the ground, pretty much just out to the side of where my hip lands. So I don't want to be in here to where I feel like I'm falling to the outside of my foot. I also don't want to be way out here to where I feel like my leg is well beyond me. So I want that foot just outside of where the front of my hip is, right? And I want to make sure as I go to do this, my head's going to go forward as my butt goes back to get weight on this heel. And I'm going to very slowly sit down onto the heel. And you see that I'm making sure that my knee is not caving in, but I'm pulling it out to where my toe's pointing. So I'm sitting down onto this leg, and while I'm doing that, really working a single leg squat here, I'm getting a nice stretch through my inner thigh and groin, and I come back up. So it's a nice little hybrid between doing a pure single leg squat. So once again, I make sure that this foot is positioned just outside of where the outside of my hip or a straight down line would be, so that as I go back onto my heel, now this knee would be here. I'm going to pull it out to the side a little to engage my glutes as I sit down slowly onto this heel and back up. So just so you can see it from another angle here, looking at my relationship of my hips and my lower back, right? Starting off nice and tall, I let my butt go back as my head comes forward. So this is nice and flat and straight as I sit down onto this heel, right? So my butt goes from behind me to back underneath me. So it's like I'm taking a bow, head comes forward as hips go back, I get the weight on this heel, I can almost kind of wiggle my toes, and I slowly sit down onto this heel, pulling my knee out to the side to feel tension in that opposite leg. Ugh.